everybody is having a great day. Welcome to the TEA-CAP, the Strangers Guild recap show.
Grab a cup and cozy up as we cover our favorite parts of the show. My name is Betty. I'm Betty. Guys, this is episode 1. Give us grace, okay? My name is Betty. I am who.the.lovely on TikTok and Instagram, and I play Lady Ehm, our resident bard.
My name is Sabrina. I am BBEG Brina on all platforms. If you're watching me here today, you already see that. And I play Nortia Thornwood, the wonderful wizard of the group. And we are your hosts.
Woo! So without further ado, let's start sipping.
So since it's the first episode, I bet you're wondering, if you don't know for some reason, if you have lived under a rock for the past 6 months, what is the Strangers Guild? Where can I watch it? So we stream on some Sundays. At Caleb the Bard's channel, which is tagged in this title. And if you do not watch us, you definitely should, and you should be on the lookout on our socials because it will also be turning into a podcast soon.
Oh.
Owa. So what are we doing, Betty?
So, okay, this is going to be one thing about Sabrina and I is we are talkers, okay? We chit chat and we converse and we conduct conversation, and a lot of it is really enriching and fulfilling and good for the campaign. So we thought we would do a little TEA-CAP show here, and kind of share our thoughts, kind of get input from you guys and from our fellow cast members, and talk a little bit about theories, a little bit about like emotional things about this campaign, and I'm so excited. I hope you're so excited. Thank you for doing this with me, Sabrina.
I am so excited, Betty. We have been talking about this for such a long time, and I'm so excited to get this first episode up and going.
I know. I think literally since episode 1 of Strangers Guild happened, and we were like, we should do a recap show.
Yes, we were like, friends, yes. Besties, yes. Spill the tea. Got it.
Great. Good. Yeah, and here we are.
So basically the format of the show is Betty and I will talk for a little bit, and then we'll show some clips that we have planned out in order because we are so professional. Oh my gosh.
We are.
By the way, for these clips, thank you so much to Icarus, who plays Dianthus on our show. And they are the person who edited together the majority of the clips. There's one clip that's badly edited, and that was me. Do not blame them. And then today's character art that you can see underneath our little boxes was made by Freckleworks, and they also did my emotes. So if you love those, you should definitely commission them because I love them and we love them and they're so good and talented.
So true.
And once again, if you want to watch us live, follow Caleb the Bard _ on Twitch. Basically, we'll go through these clips, we'll talk about it, we'll discuss, we'll take a little break, we'll come back, we'll spill more tea, we'll give our theories, and if you guys want to interact with us along the way, you are more than welcome to, but if not, Betty and I love talking, so we'll never run out of things to say. So today's topic, would you like to announce it, Betty?
Today we are talking about us. We're talking about Nortia and Ehm and their friendship and how similar they are and how different they are and the drama and the tea and the tension and how I am just so excited because we have an in-depth look at these two characters' emotional states at all times because we are these characters. So this one is going to be fun because I feel like we're going to be able to dive into it a little deeper than we might, if we did like Dianthus and Yarrow. I can't speak to Dianthus's mental state, but I can to Em's.
What is that little guy going through? Let me know in the comments down below.
Yeah, drop it in the comments. Oh my god.
One of the things we talked about a lot that we love about these characters is how much they care about each other, but specifically how much they care about each other even though they are very opposite.
Yes.
That is our first half today, is how they are foils. If you didn't see that episode title, isn't it cute? Foils and friends.
Brilliant, Sabrina. You're brilliant. That was all Sabrina.
I do my best. I think that one of the most interesting things, and my heart races when this is happening, when we're doing these scenes, is when Lady Ehm and Nortia call each other out.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
nobody else, I every time it happens, Dianthus and like Yarrow are like sitting in the corner or like not there, or and then in the chat their players are typing like our strongest soldier. And what? But yeah, I think that's one of the beautiful things about their friendship is that they
Agree.
can say these things to each other and not be scared that it's going to ruin their friendship.
Well, and it's interesting too, because like you said, no one else can talk to each other the way that they talk to each other. And that very much shows because people have tried in the stream to come at Lady Ehm the way Nortia does, or to come at Nortia the way Ehm does. And it's the person to step in the way of that is the other person.
Yeah.
Like when you know what I mean? Like I'm like it's like no one can talk to her the way I talk to her. It's like it's that energy. It's that energy, and that very much I think shows in like how comfortable they are with each other.
Yeah.
So immediately they were so comfortable with each other, which was fascinating to me.
I think the really beautiful thing was and I'm gonna be sappy for a second before we start our first clip, but it like the connection between Lady Ehm and Nortia made me and Betty really good friends.
Yes.
And it makes my heart so full. And I think that like both of us automatically had such trust with each other at the table that we were like, I will attack you, and please know that it's like coming from a good place because I know that we will play in this together, you know? I will never take away your urgency, your like motive, but like these characters are opposites. And like, what does that mean if they're best friends as well? So speaking of calling each other out, give us a quick second as I do this transition because it's a little wonky. But go ahead and also on your end, Betty, you can press calling each other out. My cat's in here. My roommate's cat's in here, and I did not know. Hello, Monaco. Thank you for
Before we start the clip, what kind of tea are you drinking today, Sabrina?
Yes, eventually we'll get sponsored, but I'm drinking black English breakfast tea. It's a classic. It's a go-to. Add a little milk. Add a little honey. Beautiful. What about you, Betty?
I am drinking the Tazo Passion Tea, which is like hibiscus and rose hips and like it's where it's at. It's where it's at. Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready to press this clip?
I can't wait. Let's do it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Kind of as she walks past you to open the door of the shop to signal like to go. She says back, "You cannot give and take hope like you're a god, Nortia."
But Lady Ehm, when you asked me why I would think that, were you planning to lie to me?
If you had asked me, I would have told you the truth. If you did not ask me, I would not have told you.
Lady Ehm, I have made it abundantly clear that I trust you with my secrets, with my sorrows, and with my life. But right now, I don't believe you. You wished to hide this from all of us, when all anyone here has done is share for a common goal. I want to trust you. Please give me a reason to trust you.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Oh my god! Sometimes I think if any other character said that to the other person, what would be the response, you know? Because, like, I think first, let's talk about the first clip. You cannot take and give hope like you are a god, Nortia. that line, you said it, and I felt it through my soul when it was happening. I was like, whoa.
And also, I will say, ironic now that we know what we know about Nortia and where she comes from, which I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
But now it makes me makes my stomach opey thinking about it. I'm like, oh, whoa, like crazy. But I mean, if anyone else had said to M, "Give me a reason to trust you," M would have been like, "Why? Why should I? Like, I don't have to." But like, she needs Nortia to trust her.
Yeah.
In a very visceral way.
Yeah, I thought that was like doing that scene because I was so nervous because I was like, Nortia has this information. She's told Yarrow, she's told Gunnar, and like she did that because she doesn't feel like keeping information from her friends is fair. But that moment when she realized, for me, like I was like, oh. When she realizes she has to be quiet when Lady M comes around, she does not like that.
Yeah. Because then she's keeping something from M.
Yeah. And so she was like, I think you deserve all the information. And then oh my God. We didn't show this part. If we showed that whole episode, y'all would be like, y'all ate.
Because we did.
We did.
Because we did.
We did. Yeah. But the other part of it was like, when Nortia brings it up, you say, what makes you think that I'm Fae? And I was like, as Sabrina, I was like, how dare you? As Nortia, I was like, she was going to lie to me. And I think that was the really hard thing for Nortia, like realizing her differences with Lady M, right? Because she sees her differences very clearly with Dianthus, because they have had that argument of like killing somebody is not okay, right? But with Lady M, the difference feels almost like minute even. And this idea of what is truth and what is lie, and what is okay to keep and what is not okay to keep.
Yes. It feels like Nortia and M feel like they were born the same person and just had different things happen to them. Yeah. And I feel like we like M trauma shower every morning, right? But we talk a lot about how Nortia has not had Nortia's whole gag is that she hasn't had a traumatic experience in her life. Like, so it's so interesting in that way of like, this is what Nortia would have become or could have become, or, you know, they still have the potential to. M, I think, is grasping onto the fact that it shows that she can change. You know?
I'm gonna cry.
It is. I mean, M is like, there is so much goodness in this being that I have like let go of, but like it's possible to, that is possible, you know, it's crazy. But to your point, when in regards to like truth and lie and who needs to know what, very different opinions about that. Very different opinions about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting that you say like they were born the same person, because it's like Nortia looks up to M and is like, oh, this is what power looks like. This is what having the ability to shape what's going on around you looks like. In the first episode, there's a moment about the ship when Nortia is talking and she's like, I just want control over that. And not in like an evil way, but like just like I can't do anything if I don't have control. And so when she meets Lady M, this person who walks into a room and has everybody's attention and takes control of the situation, I think that's why she immediately latches on, right? Because like the same as Lady M wants to be the good that Nortia has, Nortia wants to be the control and power that Lady M has.
Dude, oh, this is so good. I feel sticky. So good. Well, it is, yeah. And like, we talked a little bit about like, you messaged me and you were like, is it because Nortia reminds you of like this? I'm not going to put spoilers and or whatever, but like of like this person or that person. And like Nortia reminds M so much of herself that it makes her sick. Like she's like, oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's just juicy. It's just juicy, and I
It's
love
so
it.
juicy. And we don't show this clip later. We show parts before it, but like
Mhm.
it goes along with the whole like they were talking and Nortia doesn't want to die a visage of somebody else, and so she's
Yeah.
like really
Right.
hoping that Lady M sees her. And I think the beautiful thing is that she does see her, but she sees herself in her, and
Yeah.
those are together and separate at the same time.
Mhm. And I mean, with the you can't give and take hope like you're a god, right? M said that because Nortia had the power in that situation.
Yeah.
Like M sees that Nortia has more power than she knows she does, and M sees it. M sees it, and I don't think anybody else sees it, which is another like I think that's another layer. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a whole other layer of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think part of me, like in AU, I don't want this to happen in game, right? But like the beautiful like tragedy that would be like Nortia getting to where Lady M now like is losing all these people and turning, but not having someone like Nortia to show that there can be light even in this darkness,
Right.
and like completely flipping 180. Because
Yeah.
I agree, like everybody else underestimates Nortia, except for Atlas and Lady M, which is something that we'll get into later because that shit is juicy about people trying to protect Nortia.
Yep.
But yeah, okay. Speaking
stuff.
of different viewpoints, I think one of the most beautiful things that has happened is how Nortia and Lady M have approached blame on each other.
Yes.
And this scene is very sad. Trigger warning, sad. 7 hours. But this is a scene after Lady M watches her friends die in front of her.
It sucked. It was not a good time for anyone involved.
And Nortia just found out that they're dead, and there's these shears, and Nortia had gotten the shears and destroyed them, and Lady M thinks that maybe that has to do with their death. So let's go to approaching blame.
Ooh, you tell me when to start it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, begin.
Do you think you killed them, Nortia?
No, I don't.
Where do you think they are? I watched them turn to dust.
And I did not turn them to dust.
Then what do you think happened?
Nortia looks you up and down. You were there. You tell me what happened.
You are on thin ice.
I understand that you are hurt. I understand that you are grieving. And I will take whatever pain you have to throw my way. However, you will not put their death on me. I did not stand at their side as they turned to dust. It is not your fault, but it is certainly not mine.
Dinah. Cast some kind of magic. At me. And she puts her hands over her corset. Kyle jumped in front. And he was gone. And Dinah was gone. And I'm not stupid enough to hope they are alive. I'm not.
Well, lucky for you, I am.
Oh my god.
Shut up. I've not watched that back in a minute, and wow.
The tension is fucking scary, dude.
Which, the first thing I thought was this. I trust you implicitly at any table I sit at. If you're DMing, if you're a fellow, like, I know that, like, we're gonna talk about it afterward. That I feel comfortable that you know where my limits are. Like, I can do this with you every game and know that we're good. You know what I mean? Which is something I appreciate playing with you so much.
Retweet after. You don't see this because there's like a big chunk afterwards, but like Betty's like throwing little hearts and we're like, we're good. We love each other. I love you. But like, I think the beautiful thing is, even in that moment where they were at each other's throats, they still like came, like, I don't think Lady M has been vulnerable like that with anybody else, you know? No. And like that, like, vulnerability of saying what happened and seeing the loss of these people, but also Nortia saying, like, it's not my fault, but it's not yours either.
Right. Which, rewinding 10 seconds, when Nortia is like, I didn't stand at their side while they turned to dust, all M heard was, it's your fault.
Yeah.
And then the next thing Nortia says is, it's not your fault. M is like, that's another moment where Emma's like, you are reading my mind. Like, you know, there's nothing to stop me from telling you what happened because you're in it with me, you know? Yeah.
I think it's hard because for Nortia, like, she works purely based off of logic. Like, she has a lot of emotions and heart and love, but like, what everything comes down to is, like, logically, you saw them turn to dust. That's not the same as seeing the life leave somebody's eyes. And so she's like, they could still be alive, you know, which, like, is when she starts giving hope and all that kind of stuff. And I think
you can't do that.
You can't do that. But the thing with Nortia is, I feel like if she sees that there can be hope, she believes that instilling it in somebody is more important than the risk of what if that's hope taken away, you know?
And that's so interesting that you say that, because M is the opposite. Why would you give hope if there was the chance that it could be taken away?
Yeah.
They're just in every way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it was like opposite with the scene right after with Imris, where it's like Nortia's like, this man died right in front of me. Like, I can't tell you he's alive, but I can tell you that he loved you, and that you loved him, and that is one of the luckiest things we can have in this world, you know? Like, there's different forms of comfort that she can bring, but all of them come from a logical place in her mind.
Right. She's just always, like, so solution oriented.
Yeah.
Which is much needed in this party, frankly. There's also a moment that I wanted to touch on that was, like, right at the beginning. Let me play it back and see if I can find it. Where Nortia says something brilliant that made me cry. Hold on.
I watched them turn to
dust in front of me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I needed a notebook. I need to start taking notes while we're watching these.
Nortia looks you.
That moment where it's like, something I appreciate about you as a player is you're like, you set the scene, right? It's more than just a conversation. It's like, this is what my character does. And what that helps is, you know, you said to Caleb, you were like, it's so cinematic, but like, that's you as a player. Like, you do that. That is you. You do that. You do that. You make it a movie. And I'm like, oh my God. And if anyone else were to go like this to M, she would incinerate them where they stand. Like, it would be over. It would be over. But because it's Nortia, M is like, instead of it being like an offense to M, it's just a signal to M that she's pushed too far, right? Yeah. It's like, it's just brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's what I love about it, right? It's like, us as players, right, we're like reading each other's energy, but they read each other's energy the same, and they're not afraid to push each other's energy, but they also care about each other too much to push when it's too far.
Yes. I will say at this point in the campaign, right?
Yeah.
I think there's been some moments, that was one of them, where M was like, M would never give anyone but Nortia a warning, right? When she's like, you're on thin ice, she would never give anybody a warning like that if it was not Nortia. And so like, M is not afraid to snap, but is prone to snapping.
Yeah.
And if Nortia had kept digging at her, then I think it would have been a different scene.
Yeah.
It would have been a different scene.
My favorite little bit of that whole clip is when Nortia says, I know that you are hurting, and you laugh.
Yes.
And then she says, I know that you are grieving, and she comes back.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God. Oh my God.
It's more than hurt. That's why she laughs. She's like, this is so much more than, and M also, I mean, it's also like, you don't know what that word means to M, right? Like, she's like, everyone I have cared about has died in front of me. And like, you're telling me that I'm in pain. That's comical, right?
Yeah. I think the funniest thing is like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
The funniest thing is like, I think Lady M doesn't always know when she's hurting anymore because she's been hurt so bad, versus Nortia, who has not been hurt like terribly in her life. And that's why she can read hurt so well, is because she's like, this is not something that I experience every day. And I think that also helps with her understanding of like some people's mountains are molehills and some people's molehills are mountains, you know, like, and understanding both sides of that. Will you keep the chat entertained while I take this kitty out of my room?
I would love to so much. Hi, chat. It's just me. Can you hear me, Sabrina? Guys, how iconic. I didn't notice, I'll bring your attention to this, that this stream is supporting the Trevor Project. That's so cool and amazing. And I didn't know that Sabrina did that with your streams. That's so cool.
Huh?
There they are. I didn't know that you supported the Trevor Project on your streams. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
we
I
haven't
love
gotten any donations yet because I haven't been streaming as much, but we're pushing for it.
That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah,
that's how I entertain
the
chat.
last one I did was the Hispanic Heritage Foundation was the last one I was donating to.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. There was one more thing I wanted to touch on in this last clip, is when in that same moment when Nortia is like, when Nortia is like, I know that you're grieving and I will take all of the pain you have to throw at me. Like, I don't know what that sentence meant to you or to Nortia, but to M, that was like someone pulling the blanket off of her. That was like someone being like, I see into your soul and I know that you are angry to cover up that you're sad. Like, and the fact that Nortia saw that and was like, I can take it. That was wild for M. That's why she was like, never mind. Sorry. I didn't mean it.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. For me, it was one of those things where Nortia says it a couple times to M, that like she'll take the hurt, right? And it's that Nortia understands that she has been privileged to not be as hurt as M is, and she sees the pain that M has gone through, and she loves Lady M. Like, I genuinely believe that those two are platonic soulmates, and like she sees that she's hurting and she's like, I don't mind you hurting and you using your words and screaming and yelling at me, but you don't get to put somebody's death on me. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
You know? Because,
but like, do anything else that you need to do to get the feeling out.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think it was like a beautiful boundary to be set between those two.
Yes, I agree. And one that I think M needed, because M like rages and doesn't know but cares deeply if the other person understands that it's not because she's mad, it's because she's in pain, right? It's like a wounded animal bites, right? It's that. So like, the fact that Nortia is like, I get it, makes M be like,
she said, oh no, you saw too much.
That's cool, whatever, I guess. So Dinah,
So Dinah.
Yeah.
Before we go, more in depth, we have this scene that I feel like is going to take up so much of our talking points before our break, because I think it is the perfect show of vulnerability between the two of them, but also this like foil of how they interact. And I think, eat this clip up, everybody. Click before the break, Betty. Oh my gosh. Eat this up. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
As soon as you stop, you see Nortia, like, there's a panic in her eyes, but not the panic that she's had when everybody's been in danger. And she looks at you, grabs the dagger from her, like, thigh holster, and leans in and stabs the dagger into the wall next to you. Kind of like leaning over Lady M, even though Lady M is so much taller than Nortia. And she looks at you, lets go of the dagger that's now in the wall, and takes her hand and grabs your chin and pushes it, like, to look at the dagger.
Emma's gonna grab your hand. What do you want, Nortia?
This dagger? What's... You look at it.
Emma's gonna pull it out of the wall. And look at it.
Someone once asked me what I saw. What do you see?
If you have something to say, I suggest you say it.
Do you see anything special about it?
The dagger? Or you? The answer is yes, Nortia. And very meticulously pull the glove off of one of her hands. And you see that the skin of her hand is riddled with scars. And it's discolored, and there's like tissue connections that should not be there or should be there and are not. It is just it's evident where she wears gloves. And she very slowly, like she's asking permission to, is gonna reach her hand out like by her knuckle to wipe a tear from under your eye, if you'll let her.
Nortia doesn't move back or anything.
Emma's gonna wipe the tear from your eye and just hold her hand out for you to take.
She takes your hand.
I do not have to see all of you to know you, Nortia. I know you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Ow. Owie.
Owie.
That hurt a little bit.
That one does hurt. It hurts a lot
Wild.
of it.
That was so good. I took notes this time, so I knew what I wanted to talk about.
You go first. I'll sip my tea.
The first thing that is like, this scene is a turning point in their relationship is the physical proximity and interactions, right? Because it's like, M not a big fan of physical touch in all things, right? And for Nortia to be like, I'm gonna get all up in your grill and like, whatever and ever, and I'm blah 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 blah. And for M to still be like, something is happening here, and I'm here for you to get through it. It was something that I, as a player, don't fully understand why M made that choice yet. And I think I do this thing where I'm like, my character's like possessing me or whatever. You get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, I think it's very much in the same vein, and we can time out on that, but talk about that later because it's a whole other point of like the same idea of like your anger is covering hurt and you just need to do what you need to do right now. So I'm just going to let you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, God, I had messaged Betty beforehand to make sure that it was okay to do that scene, and I
said absolutely, absolutely, yes.
I think the funny thing is that like a lot of times people think that like these pauses, these like moments of like closeness are and somehow romantic, but then they see the scene, right? Like describing like the dagger in the wall like being over you seems like, something else, but with
saucy.
them, it seems saucy, but with them it's like, why are you angry? Why are you hurt? And I think the hardest thing for Nortia up until that point is like she believed that her whole life, like the thing that was special about her was nothing. It was she was taking these experiences from other people and writing them down and sharing them, and like being a messenger, being a voice for those people. Like that doesn't make her special. It just means that she was the one to do it. And seeing all of this stuff happen, like and seeing what Dianthus do, what Lady M can do, what Yarrow can do, she's like, these people are so special. And the one thing I have is knowledge. And every time I've gained new knowledge, specifically about the Gunnar situation, like it's just hurt her, And like she has never been in love, and we don't really cover this a lot in the show, but like Nortia has had romantic interests in the past, but like she never full out pursued them because she would rather be alone and be happy with herself than be with somebody else and not have what her dads have. And so when she's finally like, oh, this person wants to protect me, that I see this person, and then she's like, I don't know what makes me special, and I thought they saw something that made me special, and it's not me. And that's why she was so hurt in that moment. It's because her specialness from Gunnar did not come from Nortia's light, Nortia's energy. It came from a goddess that was not her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Nortia. That's so interesting because like there's totally something to be said about like being godlike. And I think if any character is godlike, I think it is Nortia in the sense of like I feel like Nortia has the most, with the whole dreamscape situation, it's the closest thing to divinity that I think any of the characters come. And it's so interesting that like that is where Nortia went, as opposed to like we were talking about, right? Like I am control, right? Or like being closer to having more power, or like being closer to something that can get me more power. The last thing Nortia is power hungry. Like, you know what I mean? So it's interesting that that's where Nortia's brain went, as opposed to wanting to grab for the power that she now understands she's close to.
Yeah. I think the hard thing is, right, with Nortia, like her divination magic, the strongest thing that she has, she does not even understand that she's doing it, but will only use it to save her friends and to save other people. Like there's not a singular time where she's like, I want this to go in my favor. It's like, I'm protecting this person. I want this person away from my friends. I like, or like, you're not taking any of these people, like that's when that comes out for her. And I think the really beautiful thing about that scene is like Nortia's realization that like Lady M, when you took off the glove, I was like, that's when Nortia knows like this person trusts her, even if she's not telling her everything. Like, if anybody out there cares about if Nortia dies on the battlefield, it's this person.
Yeah.
Which is why Nortia cares so much about making sure that Lady Ehm is happy. You know?
Crying, yes. and speaking of the glove moment, it's the, like, every time Em has had to encounter physical touch in the campaign, it has been other people touching her, right? Like a kiss of the hand or a, touch on the shoulder or whatever, right? And Em has just kind of had to like take it on the chin. But I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that is the only time in the whole campaign, save for maybe like if she's healing someone or, whatever, that Em has willingly initiated physical touch without her gloves on.
Yeah.
That's the first time that I think she's done that. And like, then she says, like, I don't have to see all of you to know you. And she's talking about herself. Like, you don't need to see all of me to know me. Here's part of me. You don't need to see the rest of me to know me, right? Like, and I don't need to see all of you to. So it's like another instance of them just being like, I feel like every time, all of their intense interactions are big and explosive, and then they boil down into, we are the same and we can work together to solve this problem.
Yeah.
Like, we're not so different, you and I.
We're not so different. Yeah, I think the thing about the glove that really gets me, and about all of it, right, is that Nortia, like, before all this happened, is not a crier, because she's very logical, right? She's like, death happens, all this stuff happens, it has not happened to me, but it happens. And the first person that she cries to is Lady Ehm. And, like, the first person that Lady Ehm is, like, Nortia is fine with physical touch, Nortia is fine with all of that, but, like, emotional vulnerability, like, is not something that she had to encounter, because the only things about Nortia that, like, you could say are trauma, but I don't even think our trauma is just her trying to deal with two facts of, one being, I don't think I'm special, but that's okay. Like, in her brain, she's like, I don't have to have something special about me to do something special. And the other thing being, I don't know where I come from. And like, to her, like, it doesn't matter because she was lucky to have her dads. But like, I think aside from Atlas, Lady Ehm is the first person that she's like, I have you. And I know that I could lose you at any instant. And that is terrifying to her.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like that is like the danger of being close to anyone, but like another thing that makes them different, or excuse me, one thing that I think makes them similar is that in that fear of like, if I let someone close to me, then I could lose them. And that is devastating. But correct me if I'm wrong, Nortia's understanding of it is, I will have loved them and that will have been enough.
Yeah.
And Em's is, I will have lost them and that will be too much.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh.
Yeah. I think fuck.
It's too good. It's literally too good.
Yeah, because Nortia is like, love is the greatest thing that anybody can experience, no matter if it's platonic, romantic, familial. That is more than anything. And like, the beautiful thing that she saw between Yarrow and Emerys is not just love. It's that there can be storybook love that's not romantic, which was the first time she saw that. Somebody so willing to protect their brother, so willing to make sure that, like, if they had to give up every second of their life to find a way to make them okay, like, and then to see them die, like, I think for Nortia in that instance, she's like, this is sad, and I am hurt and sad for my friend, but what matters is that they know that, like, they both got to experience something so beautiful. Speaking of Lady Ehm and Nortia's, like, I want to protect this person. In the scene from earlier that we watched, when Lady Ehm talks about how Cal jumped in front of her, Owie. That
Owie
was.
does feel bad.
But that's why in our most recent episode, which if you have not watched the VOD, go
You
watch
have
that
to.
VOD.
You literally have to. That has been my favorite episode we've played, point blank, period, ever. Like,
so good.
so
Oh
good.
my
The
God.
mechanic of the plane shifting, brilliant. And it's like, Caleb outdoes himself every single time. Every time.
The fact that they were sitting on that, I was like, if I was in your shoes, I would have been telling everybody. I'd be like, look at this cool mechanic I came up with. That was so fucking cool.
It was so cool. You have watched that episode if you haven't,
that
too,
VOD.
because you need to.
But like the last thing that Nortia does is when she thinks somebody's dying, like she wants to know who it is, and she is like, all she can think is if she's like, Cal and Lady Ehm would have found each other. Like she believes that in her soul that they would find each other, and she said one of them would jump in front of the other. Like what she saw when Lady Ehm was talking was, it felt like to Nortia that her friend was saying, I wish I had been the one who was hit. I wish I had jumped in front of Cal instead. And so she's like, Cal would take the bullet for Ehm, and that would, if Cal dies, Ehm is falling apart and she needs me, or Ehm would take the bullet for Cal and my best friend could be dead. And that's why she does the switch with Cal. Yeah.
Oh no. It's too well, and I was gonna ask you about that because I had thought you were going to go to Ehm. I thought it was gonna be like, I want to go to Ehm.
Yeah.
But the fact that you went to Cal was an interesting choice, and now that you've explained it,
Well, she also saw what it means if Lady Ehm loses Cal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she saw that, like, before Nortia ran and saw Cal in the well, like, it seemed like the end for her, you know?
Yeah. Yes. And because, let me give you some insight. It was. It was. Because it's so, I know we're talking about Nortia and Ehm today. We're gonna do an episode about all the ships, and in the Ehm Cal episode, I'm gonna lose my mind because that dynamic is insane to me. Very much on the nose because that is what it's like. It's like two people in the rain, and you're like, have my umbrella, have my jacket. No, have my jacket and my like. That's what it is, right? And so it's like all Ehm could think about. The Cal giving Ehm the breastplate is evidence. It's not like a protection or a comfort. It's like this, it's a weight for her. She's like, this is evidence that it's my fault that you're gone. Like, it's the worst. It's the worst. And so like for Nortia to clock into that is like yikes and yummy. And I think it's like Gunnar and Nortia have a very different dynamic, but it's like Ehm knows that the way Ehm would do anything to save Cal is the way Sabrina Nortia would do anything to save Gunnar. Now, she doubts that Gunnar is going to be that loyal to Nortia because she doesn't trust that anyone in the world will care about Nortia the way she deserves to be cared about. But we'll talk about that later.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The ships are going to take such a long time to discuss because there is so much
4-hour
juicy tea.
episodes.
Like, they are so good. And
So good.
I think, like, yeah, like, knowing that and knowing that, like, I said this at the end of our last stream in, like, our solo thing, but, like, Nortia's fatal flaw is that she wants to save everybody without hurting anybody. And,
which is not going to happen.
Yeah. And but her truth is, even though that is what she wants to believe that she can do, is that she was like, if Ehm loses Cal, I lose my best friend, and she could not handle that. So she went to that person, even though she doesn't think Cal is the weakest, right? Like, logically, like, she doesn't think Cal would go down first. She thinks maybe it would be Yarrow, maybe it would be Imerys, maybe it'd be somebody else, right? But she's like, I saw my friend destroyed, and I won't see that again.
Oh, and something you just said inspired me, and now I forgot it. Wait. It's like, oh, I knew this was gonna happen. I knew I was gonna have a thought and I'll forget it. Maybe I'll think of it. Oh, something that we haven't gotten into in game yet, but we have talked about it. It hasn't come up in game yet, but I'm assuming it will probably here very soon, is that Nortia is trying to hurt the least amount of people possible. And M will hurt every single person in the room if it means that what needs to happen happens. And that difference in them, I don't think we've explored in game, but I think will be perhaps the fieriest of their differences. Because yeah.
You know
Speak
that
to that.
TikTok audio that goes where they're like, do you enjoy hurting people? And it's like don't talk to me or whatever. And they're like you enjoyed killing your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I feel like,
yeah,
like the worst thing that Nortia could say is if she found everything out and she was like, I don't know what's going to happen in this next episode. My theory of your solos, my theory is that you murder your sister. That is my theory.
Which one?
The younger one, which is why, like, either you or Megara, somebody has to kill her. I think that's what's going on. Anyway,
somebody's dead.
Somebody's dead. But I don't know. But like, I think like the most hurtful thing like Nortia could say is like, do you like hurting people? Like you hurt somebody that you really love, you know?
Oh my God. And don't sip your tea like that. Don't sip your tea, you villain. You villain. That's it, though. That's it. That's exactly it. And like, it's like that difference between them, I think will be a hard dynamic shift, and because M will be unmoving in that, and so will Nortia.
Yeah.
They both will be.
Yeah.
They're both good. It's just good.
Yeah. Eat it
Yeah,
up.
it's good. It's just good. I just love us. I love this.
I
This
love
is so
this
fun.
too. It's so fun. Speaking of how fun it is, how about everybody go refill your tea? If you didn't pour one before, go get cozy and come back, and we will be right back. Hiya, howdy, everybody. We're back from our break. I hope everybody's having a good time. We're having a great time. This is so much fun.
Having a blast.
Now we get to the cutesy part of it, you know, them being friends, them caring about each other. And obviously they have cared about each other in their foil moments. But Betty, do you want to talk about their friendship fairly quick before we dive into these clips?
I would love to. You said it earlier that Em and Nortia's friendship, okay, first of all, immediate, which was not expecting. I love it when that happens, like either in a campaign or like just in real life, where you're like, someone like walks into a room and starts talking and you're like, that one. I want that one. You know what I mean? And you're like, that's it. And that was Em and Nortia very much. And you and me, I feel like. Yeah. And I'll just say that right now. But like that was crazy to me. And that, I think, allowing that to shake up my character's energy also led to like all of these amazing moments. But like I was shocked at how quickly they were besties. I was shocked at how quickly it became comfortable, and I was shocked and pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to have really intense moments with Nortia and really sappy moments with Nortia.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I like they've only known each other for like a week. Like I think they had like interactions
Crazy.
before, but like
Yeah.
it was one of those things where it's like I've had that, you know, in real life. Like my roommate Elsa that I lived with before, like we knew each other and then we moved in and we did everything together, you know, and like I feel like if Lady M and Nortia were like plopped into now, like that would happen to them. They would meet at this tavern and they'd be like, roomies, besties, forever.
Great, you're moving in tomorrow. yeah.
I love them
Totally.
so much.
I do too.
I think something that's really beautiful about their friendship is how much they want to uplift each other, and how you were talking about how Lady M sees Nortia's power in a way that nobody else does, not even Nortia. And in that same regard, like Lady M says that she's bad, but Nortia's like, I've only seen good in you, you know? And like seeing the thing that the other person doesn't see. It's so cute.
Which is why I think they were instantly friends, because they saw it and they were like, that. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. That is the thing. That is their thing, and I love it. And these two clips are two of my favorite from the show so far, so I hope you guys enjoy. This is uplifting each other. 3, 2, 1, play.
I don't want my spills to make a mess of all of this. And there is that is not who I am anymore, not really. I'm an apothecary. That's what I do. I'm so far removed from the creature that I was when I was there, and I don't like to think about it, so I was not going to tell you about it because it's not who I am. I wasn't hiding it because I was hiding it because I was afraid. And I'm sorry if that made you mistrust me.
Lady M, you once told me that the things you've done with your magic, you are not the right person to ask how to wield power. Will you repeat that to yourself when you feel that again? Because you are not who you were. You told me and I believe you. Believe yourself too, okay?
You're good at this.
You are extraordinarily powerful. How do you not get scared of all of that power?
Oh. I have been... I am old. Nortia. I have been very powerful for very long. And I don't know the things I have done with my magic. I don't think I'm the best person to ask.
Maybe not. Be the person that I have.
You can't be afraid of it. It's yours. No one else's.
Nortia leans in to Lady M. I saved Yarrow.
You saved the Yarrow. You saved the Yarrow.
That is my power. And she hugs Lady M.
Emma's gonna go stiff for just a second and then lean into it. This is probably the first time she's been hugged in a very long
My heart. Oh my god. Seeing those scenes back to back really hurts.
My widow, what? I'm just a little guy. I can't do this. I'm just a little guy. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh my god.
Boy. That moment at the very end, our lovely resident artist, Freckle, drew that moment, that hug. Can I show that? Do you think I can show the picture?
Yeah.
We'll take. This is, I can't tell if am I centered?
Did
I think
they
I'm centered.
lock screen? Bitch, I'm crying.
It's my lock screen. Let me show you. Let me give you the rundown quick. So this is my lock screen when we play. This is my lock screen normally. Let's see. This is this. Anyway, I could get into. I have a lot of lock screens, but whenever I'm doing anything regarding this stream, yeah, this is my lock screen.
That's
yeah,
so
it is.
cute.
Yeah, I love it here. That's all I have to say.
It's so good. It's again the like vulnerability and the like thing that really gets me, and I love that when they put these together that Icarus put the one that happens before or after, so you can see what Nortia is talking about.
I agree.
You know? Like Lady M sees the power and Nortia sees the good, and it's like
That makes me so emo. There are a couple things that I want to touch on that strike me when I'm watching these. So the first thing is I feel like a lot of times with them, and it's interesting because it happens specifically when I'm talking to Nortia, but I like take so much time. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, why does it take me so much time to like say what I'm trying to say? And it's because for M, it is so hard to say what she's gonna say. For her to say to Nortia that she's like afraid to tell her the truth about what she is, that is so hard for her to do. And so like the fact that you as a fellow player let me just like bumble around and try and figure out what I'm gonna say, and Nortia understanding that she just needs like that is big to M and to me, that it's just like slay.
It's
like
so
you do what
good.
you need to do.
And I think the thing is like I see that in both anytime I watch back our VODs, like Nortia and Lady M, when talking to each other, choose their words carefully because both of them understand how much the wrong thing could hurt. And the only time they're not doing that is in that scene where they're at each other's throats.
Yeah. Which until you said that just now, I didn't even put that together. Whoa, that's crazy. Wait, you're literally right. And they have so much potential to hurt each other.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't think I know, because I am her. I know M doesn't know just how deeply Nortia has rooted herself into M. Like M hasn't allowed herself to like acknowledge how deeply she cares about Nortia and how much Nortia means to her, because it's dangerous, right? To like let people in like that. But scenes like that and scenes when we're fiery and going back and forth super quick just show that like they are just so deeply rooted in each other and are the people who have the ability to help each other the most and hurt each other the most.
I think something that is really beautiful is the contrast between that scene on the horses where she's saying like that's not who I am, and admitting that she's afraid, with the contrast between the scene between Lady M and Dianthus, when Lady M says, "We are not people who get scared. We are not afraid. We are people who hurt people." And it's like these two relationships that bring out such a different point in her, where it's like,
Yeah.
with Dianthus, I feel like Lady M sees like her past as like, yes, like it's bad, and like they like mourn in that, right? But like it's like that's what we do. And with Nortia, it's like
cool.
I want to be something different. I want to be like you. And Nortia's like, but I want to be like you.
That's just all of their conversations. The whole thing. That's a point that I wrote down, is like in that moment where Em is like, you know, I was afraid to tell you that's not who I am anymore. Like that was, I am so far removed from that, is her pleading with Nortia to be like, see me for what I am showing you, because that is all I'm going to give you. Like, I'm not going to, that's all I can give you, because I can't allow myself to access that to tell you about it. Like, it's her just pleading with Nortia to ignore a whole part of her being, and also in a more in a subconscious way, like being like, if you see that, love me anyway. Like if you see that and like, you know what I mean? It's like, that is the worst part of me, and if you associate that with me in any way, it will tear me apart. Like it's intense.
It's beautiful, because I think that Lady M only cares about Nortia not seeing her like that. She's not afraid.
She does not care at all. Yeah.
Like
she
anybody
could care
else.
less.
Yeah. Anybody else, she's like, yeah, I hurt people. What has it? And then with Nortia, she's like, yeah, I do, but like, but
it's like, not, I promise it's okay. Like,
yeah, I think it goes back to like when Nortia first found out and told Yarrow, right? And she said, like, she didn't even tell Yarrow that Lady M was Fae. She just said, she is something, and I do not understand that, and to fear that would be wrong. To fear something that I don't understand is not okay. And so I trust her to tell us. Those two, man.
I know. It's so funny. It's like, I trust her to tell us, but then also, this is something I don't know if this is a question, but it's something I want you to speak to about Nortia, is like, I trust her to tell us, and then the transition from that into the choice about bringing it up. And you talked a little bit about like her seeing Em and having something to hide what didn't feel good, but like, I would love to hear more about that transition.
Yeah. So I think like there were multiple beats that caused that, right? Like the most immediate thing that happened to them after was the knife, or it was the dagger and glove scene, right? And she hears like, I do not have to know all of you to know you. That is such a good line, Betty. I almost cried just saying it. But like, she sees that and she's like, okay, maybe she's not going to tell me, but am I okay with that? And the answer is yes. She's okay that if Em never tells her, but then now she realizes that like her moral obligation to her friends, to Gunnar, to Yarrow, is to tell them what she knows, because she doesn't, all Nortia knows is there was a flower in your hair that wasn't there before, and then she met this guy and he said that you were Fae. And the fact that you didn't say anything about it clued Nortia to like, maybe there's something going on and I trust you to protect me in danger, but I think you're too hurt right now to tell us if we're in other danger besides what we're in right now. And like having that, all that knowledge, and then telling Gunnar, the beat when she tells Gunnar, like, is like, maybe I can't be telling this to people. And then having held on to that idea and seeing Yarrow get hurt, and then you come in and the first thing you do is check to make sure Yarrow is okay. And that's who she knows Lady M to be. She knows Lady M to be the person who, when things go wrong, the first thing that Lady M does is come up to you and grab your face and check to see that you're okay. Like, that was the most beautiful thing in the church sequence too, after Lady M had went through all of that, and Nortia and Gunnar show back up, and she sees Nortia and she's like, "Are you okay?" Like, please. So good. But yeah, that's what like changed her mind about it.
Yeah, and like I think like I see in Nortia how you play her post that, I guess, like the beginning of last session through the beginning of a session ago through this most recent session, is that like, and tell me if I'm incorrect, but I guess M is seeing this in Nortia, of like, perhaps not all information is information that everyone needs to be privy to at all times.
Yeah.
And like now in this like sorting it out of like what is there to share and what isn't there, because sometimes it is unsafe to share information, as she learned when she shared with Gunnar.
Yeah. I think the thing with Nortia is Nortia will never keep a secret about herself from her friends, but she's now realized that she has to keep her friends' secrets, because other people are allowed to have that, and that doesn't make them bad, and that doesn't make them like unwilling to help everybody else. It just means that there's something else behind that, you know? And that's what she saw when she asked Lady M about it too, which is why she was so quick to be like, this isn't my secret, because this is for Dianthus and for Cal to say, and no matter how much I love Lady M and how much I love Yarrow, wouldn't it hurt so much more coming from me? You know?
Yeah. Oh no, you're right. You're right. Oh no.
Yeah.
And that was so hard as a player, not to be like, M taps you on the shoulder every 5 minutes of this entire 7 days journey and asks you about it. But like, that's absolutely the truth of it. And it's interesting because with the whole Fae business, right? Of course, I've known M as Fae the whole time. So for me, when y'all were finding out, I was like, yeah, she's Fae. Like, that's right. Because to me and to M, it's like just who she is. That's just who she is. And so I guess one thing that I, in that moment when we were doing the horse scene, didn't understand, that M didn't understand, was like, why is it a big deal that I'm Fae?
Yeah.
Like what happened to her and what she did, big deal. But like, just like the essence of her being something of note is something that M hadn't considered before. And it's not like she was going around telling people that she was Fae, but like, it just had never really occurred to her that it what the Fae do and who the Fae are has never been something that was villainized to her the way it's like villainized to the world, right? Fae are like not inherently bad, but inherently dangerous.
Yeah.
But that's never registered to M. So that was a moment, I think, that Nortia taught M of like, again, like some secrets are.
Yeah.
Got to keep it tight-whipped. That was really interesting for M. Yeah.
I think the hard thing for Nortia wasn't that, because Nortia didn't know the bad things about the Fae. Like, of course, like she reads sheets, she does these essays, all that kind of stuff. Like, she's heard of the idea, right? But she doesn't associate them with badness. It's just the fact that Nortia found out that she was different from everybody, and M hiding her differences exaggerated, and Nortia feeling like her differences maybe weren't good and weren't right. And so I think that also went along with the hurt, you know? Because like at first she gets the secret and Nortia doesn't know what she is, right? And so she's like, why are you not saying what you are? And then when she finds out, she's like, oh, I'm made of dream and magic, and there's nobody else like that, and I haven't met anybody else like M. Maybe I should be ashamed. maybe that's why we hide things. Maybe we don't tell people who we are. It's like a very small thing that I wasn't playing up a lot, but like I was thinking about for Nortia, right? Because
Oh
that's her person, you know?
Shut up! That is insane. That might be like, oh no, Nortia, no! And if Em found out that that's how Nortia felt, Em would have told her everything.
Oh.
Like, that's crazy. Wow. Oh, my little heart. That's so good. You're so brilliant. You're literally so brilliant.
Thank you. I feel like the best parts of my character come from talking to you and realizing the differences between the two of them, you know? Like, that's how I feel like I dive so deep into Nortia, is being able to talk to somebody about, like, why did we have this conversation? And saying, like...
And why did it end the way it ended?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so good.
Juicy. Juicy! Oh, did you have anything else for those two clips?
I did not. Did you?
I had one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. You know, the more we do this, the better I'm going to get at being able to read over my notes quickly. I swear to God. Nortia and Em use the word believe a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? When Nortia is like, I don't believe you on the horse. Or like when Em is like, we have to talk about this more before we move on. The dagger or you? The dagger or you? And or I said that's your power.
Yeah.
That's what makes you special. I saved Yarrow. Like, I think these two believe in each other
Mm-hmm.
more than they believe in anything.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I don't think either of them are rooted in like a godly faith, right? Like Nortia doesn't know what to think of the gods. Like, she believes in them because she's seen all the cultures that celebrate them, right? But like to her, the person who can change everything is Lady Em. And like, I think that while Lady M's darkness may seem like a weakness to herself sometimes, like, their light and their dark, they don't work without each other, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I think we'll talk about this more later when we get to the ending segment we're doing, which I'm really excited about. But when Gunnar says it to Lady Em to protect Nortia, because he knows that Lady Em is the only one who can, you know?
Which, mad respect to Gunnar for that.
Yeah.
Mad respect. That's my favorite trope. That's my favorite trope ever, where it's like two people who care about each other more than anything in the world, and the people who care about them being like, I need you to look out for her, or like, I need you to keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Like, that, just knowing inherently that like, I can love you more than anything, but like, that is your person, and you are the person who needs to look out for them, because I care about them, and I know you care about them more than I can even comprehend.
It
like,
is Christina Yang and Meredith Grey.
Okay, who's who?
Lady M is Christina Yang, and
I was gonna say that too. That's what I was gonna say.
Oh my god. Eat up. They are each other's person. Oh,
how yummy. How yummy is that? Okay.
Protecting each other. Lady M and Nortia are no strangers to protecting each other to other people as well. I think these scenes really encapsulate that, because in neither one of them is the other person there. To see that they're standing up for them, and I think that is so fucking cool. So we're going to go to protecting each other. In 3, 2, 1, go.
I saw you talking to Nortia.
Yes, and what about it?
She looked upset. I don't like it when she looks upset.
I can be a rather upsetting person to deal with.
If you came along to be an ass, there's no point in you coming along.
I came along because my skills are needed. And I have some experience in such things.
In what such things? Being an ass? Yes, you do.
You aren't the first to tell me that.
What did you say to her to make her upset?
Oh, it's nothing I said that made her upset.
Did you do something to her? Zehan, do I need to cut your fingers off here in the forest?
She may be what she is. But more importantly, Gunnar, she is my friend. And I'd like to believe that if I carried the lineage that she did, and not the mirror of your goddess, that you would be able to see me as what I am, and not the face that I hold. Please, Gunnar. And she is looking at him so pleadingly. Please, do the same for her.
Crying.
Crying, sobbing, the whole house down. It's gonna be. Oh my gosh, I don't like it when she looks upset.
Obsessed. Okay, I would let you know that was like I wasn't even like I have this banger line. I was just like I just don't like it when she's upset and you made her upset. So how do I rectify this so she's not upset and you're punished for what you did? Like that's M's thought process.
Oh my god, I love it so much. It's so like the way like she says it with her whole chest too. Like
her whole chest. Yeah.
Like nobody else has had a I will protect this person if you do not stop, if you do not tell me what is going on. Like Lady M is usually like in the moment, I will stomp up to you. But like she let Nortia handle it herself. Nortia leaves and then she's like, what the fuck did you do, Zehan?
Well, it's interesting too, because like, so it's like M knows Nortia can handle herself, right? Nortia can do what she's gonna do and like have great one-liners and dip. And that's so awesome and amazing. But M also knows that she carries a kind of like venom that Nortia does not. Mm-hmm. And so Nortia will stand up for herself, but in a way that is like, I am building a wall and this is the wall. Talk to the wall and dip. and M will be like, I am a scorpion and I will dig myself into your ear canal and stab your brainstem. Like that, you know what I mean? It's like equally effective but different. And it's scary dog privileges. Nortia has scary dog privileges with them.
It's my
for
favorite.
Sure. For sure.
It's so good. And like Lady M has seen Nortia bite at Zehan. But like it's always been like you underestimate us. Like it's cute how silly you are to think that you can overpower us. Like Nortia is okay with quips, right? But like I think the beautiful thing is like Lady M knows that Nortia won't hurt anybody for herself. And she's like, I'll hurt them for you.
I will. Exactly. It's the who hurt you. It's the who hurt you.
And like
you. Who are you? It's so okay. I will say too, that moment also is just because M, for no reason, viscerally hates Zehan. This is common fact. I don't know why. I haven't identified as character or player why, but like the fact that it was this person that she hates that made the person she cares most about upset. It's this on top of this on top of this. And like one thing in that moment too that is funny to me is like the M is like usually she's like very cold and it's like, and I hate you, end of story, and I'm telling you something scary, blah, 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 whatever. But she's so animated in that conversation.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
It's because she's so mad. And she's like, it's exactly like when she's animated in the argument with Nortia.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. And so, yeah, anyway, it's like, yeah, I love that moment for many reasons, but specifically because it's like, when you're like, that's who M is she's like the first person to check on anyone in a room. that is who M is on the outside, or in one way, and that is who M is in the other way of like, now that I've let this person in, if you lay a finger, I will cut it off. I will bake it into a pie. Like, it's like, that's the vibe.
I have a juicy question for you. So something that really hit me in the episode with Cal is when all of that happens, you said like, this is her proof. Do not let anybody else in. And yet she still continues to let Nortia in. I think is very interesting, and I would love to hear you speak on that.
Well, okay. Nortia she's known Cal for a long time, and like has Emma and Cal's relationship is like similar but different in the sense of like, it's more like playful and light because M hasn't allowed it to kind of dig its claws into her yet, or thinks that she hasn't let it sink its claws into her yet. But like Nortia sunk her claws into M like their first conversation, and M is so guarded all of the time, but could do nothing to stop Nortia, right? Like Nortia, in knowing her so well without knowing her, just because they're inherently so similar, was already below all of her defenses. And so it's like Nortia continues to prove, even when they're like at each other's throats, that Nortia sees her in a way that Cal has not. If Cal sees M like that, Cal hasn't spoken to it, because I think Cal is a lot more careful around M. You know, Cal is like, I understand. Cal is like, I like you so much, but I also understand that you are like desperately hurt all of the time and are like one tip away from teetering off the edge always. Whereas Nortia is like, hey, what's going on? Like, and that fearlessness inspires M to continue to be open to her in hopes that she'll keep pushing her. And because as M kind of, you know, this is a very visual metaphor, but like M is on the edge of the cliff at all times. And like, she's always ready to fall off the cliff. So she doesn't let people close to her, because then she'll fall off the cliff. But Nortia came right up to her, and M took a step back, and there was solid ground behind her. And she was like, I thought this was a cliff, and now there's solid ground, and I'll take another step back, and there's solid ground again. And there just continues to be solid ground the further she backs up. So like everyone else, there still might be a cliff here, right? There's still danger of the cliff, but like Nortia is not going to push me off this cliff. And I know that because I've stepped on solid ground every single time I've stepped back. So that's kind of what it is for M. Yeah.
Oh my
God. It's tragic.
Oh my
it's
God.
tragic.
That's so beautiful, though. That idea that you can still be scared, but like not being scared with her is so cool. And I think the other thing is everybody else kind of fears M, right? Like nobody else is gonna say these things to her because they know like I'll get obliterated.
I will die.
It's like, no, I don't think she would hurt somebody who's trying to show that they care. And like, just show that you care, you know?
And it's so crazy because for M, like, she has this like mean, raw, scary facade because all she wants is for someone to see the worst of her and love her anyway. And Nortia does that consistently. Nortia does that every single time. And so like, the fact that she's not scary to Nortia, the fact that Nortia doesn't blink, the fact that Nortia pushes her, like all of those things are the only thing M wants from anyone at any time. So when people like tiptoe around her, M is like, that's proof that you can't handle me and I shouldn't let you in because you can't stand next to me and be on solid ground. But Nortia is like, let's do it. Let's party. I love you. Like,
I think one of my favorite things about Nortia is that she sees the scary and says, there's something past that. Like when she
Yeah.
saw Dianthus and she did not
Yes.
remember Dianthus, and she saw this person, and Icarus did a beautiful job at describing how scary they were. But like even
Mhm.
past all the scary, Nordy's like, do you need help? Are you okay? You know?
Yeah.
Like that's just
Something
who
else
she
there.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think something that like is really beautiful about their friendship in general, right, is like light and dark is something that's like comes to mind very like easily and frequently. Like you can even see it in our little icons below, right? Like
No, literally,
the
literally.
color palette, right? And they still share similarities. Like one of my favorite things, we did not do this on purpose, by the way, but Nordy's accent color is Lady M's main color.
The green.
The green. Yeah.
I know. It's too good. It's too
so
good.
And like I think like it goes to show like a light is not as beautiful and as precious if it's not seen in the dark, and a shadow is not as like mesmerizing if it's not seen in the light, you know?
Yeah.
And like I think like that's what makes them so special, is that
Yeah.
like they come into each other knowing what they are and bringing out the best in each other. And oh my
it's
god,
too good.
it's too good. It's
And I
too
think
good.
another thing that makes it interesting, quickly before we move on to the next one, is that they don't know it.
Yeah.
At least M doesn't. But like we can sit here and talk about it all day, but like M is like, yeah, Nordia's, you know, part of the no, member of the party and like whatever, but also if you touch them I'll cut your hand off, but like, you know, I'll, you know, whatever. Like like it hasn't, I don't think for either of them yet they've acknowledged how important they are to each other, which makes it even more tragic when they do stuff that proves it.
Yeah. It's crazy because like I think both of them say to other people like, that is my friend, back up.
Yes,
and like they say to each other like, you are my friend, like, and I think the first time like Nordia said was like, you are an irreplaceable friend. But like she refuses to say you are the only person I care about. Like she saw Gunnar and Atlas and she knows that both of them are there to protect her. And instead of getting on either of their horses because Gunnar was refusing to help, to say that he wouldn't hurt Lady M, she's like, if you're scared of her, I'm going to show you there's no reason to be scared. I will travel with her. I will do whatever. I will show you there's no reason to fear her, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that like in that same way I think M is like there's how do I phrase this? So it's like in the same way of like, I'm going to show you that there's no, like, watch me like sit next to her and not bat an eye and nothing will happen. It's like similar of like M is consistently being like giving Nordia, or maybe not giving Nordia, but like watching Nordia take opportunities to prove to herself how powerful she is. And she's gonna be there and be like, that's your power. Like that was you. Like you are special. Like M is gonna try and find every opportunity to remind Nordia that like that you did that thing. That is a thing that you did and you did it well. And here it is again for you to see. And I want you to know I see it.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh.
Yeah.
I love them.
It's so good. And like on the like special note, the thing that I think really gets me is like Lady M is the only person who thinks like you are special because of you, you know, or at least that Nordia sees, you know, because even when she's walking away from her dad's house, finding out that she's made of magic and dreams, she's like, I want what magic they had to create me. That's the special thing, is the magic they have together, not me, you know?
Nordia, it's you. It's been you the whole time. I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know. There are many conversations that I foresee Em and Nordia having, but like that is one of them where like it's gonna just be a heart-wrenching conversation of like, it's not all of the glitter that exists around you. The glitter exists around you because you exist. Like that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's, I just love them. That's it. That's the tweet. I just love them.
Our last little section, we talked about a little bit going through this, and it's because Gunnar is integral to Nordia at this point.
Yeah.
And this dilemma that is now being approached, as we saw Nordia protect Lady Ehm against Gunnar is what's going to happen when two people that she really cares about can't seem to care about each other. And the two clips we picked for this one I think are really good because one, it shows that even though Lady Ehm does not trust Gunnar all the way, like you said earlier, and also like knows that Gunnar does not trust her, you can see how badly Lady Ehm wants Nortia to be happy and feel loved. So let's watch these clips and I'll sob about it. This is the Gunnar dilemma. 3, 2, 1, play. Flushes a little bit. And she automatically, her eyes dart towards her comfort person. She's looking right at Lady Ehm.
We'll go after him.
Yes. And she stands up from the table and goes after Gunnar.
Tell me why Gunnar is so moody, please.
I have a feeling that whatever happened between him and the Fae took something, someone, a part of him even. Maybe he wants to protect me, and I can see it in everything he does. My fathers see it too.
Did he meet your father? Wait.
He went and spoke to them without warning on my part. He does not trust you, but I do. And I believe that trust and love is something that can be spread to others, that it does not have to solely come from one person to the next. So, hopefully, he continues to see the good in you that I see in you.
I'm obsessed with all of this. Oh my god. Oh.
It's so... I think, like, Nortia is so quick to tell Lady Ehm everything about her love life. Because she's like, every time she does, she doesn't act like it's silly. Like, Nortia understands and realizes that the world is crumbling around her, and focusing on a silly little guy is not the most important thing in the world. But, like, I think it's beautiful that Ehm never minimizes it, and in fact, even tries to find out more about it. Like, so good.
It is so interesting that you say that because it has never occurred to me as a player or Em as a character to minimize it in any way. Like that's never something that's crossed her mind to be like, we have bigger fish to fry like that. Like, and I think a lot of that is because Em can see that Nortia and Em, platonic soulmates, love each other, so important to each other, but Gunnar fulfills a need that Em cannot.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, I guess he's useful, right? Like, it's like, fine, if we have to keep him around, I get it. But like, Em would never do anything to take away any of Nortia's joy at any point in time. And in fact, would seek out and hurt people who did try to do that. So like the fact that, it's just sweet and I love it. And I know this is a different TEA-CAP conversation. So I'll just say this and then I'll stop myself. But Nortia and Gunnar are like, they're both just two little dorky dudes who have big feelings, and I love them so much. That's it. That's the tweet.
Well, we'll see how that continues in season 2 because Caleb twilighted me.
Iconic. Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm allowed. Never mind.
Wait. No, this isn't fair because you get boyfriend DM privileges and I get my bestie has the boyfriend DM privileges. So.
You're right. No, you're right. Forgive me. You're right. Actually, I take it back. I take everything back. You're so correct. So I know they're not watching the stream right now, so I feel I'm gonna say this and get in trouble for it later. But Caleb was like, I have this idea, and like I think I'm gonna make Gunnar a vampire. And I was like, I was like, if you don't do that now, I will find a way to make him a vampire in game because that will give Sabrina life. Like obsessed in every way, obsessed. And again, different conversation. I'll cut myself off after this. But that now it's like for M, when M finds that out, it's going to take every single fiber of her being and every single ounce of her strength that she has not to be like, just throw it back in his face about being afraid of what people are. And like, like this creature and like blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, are you not exactly what I am now? Are we not both creatures? Like, it's like, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. But anyway.
I think what's really cool about it though is like, we haven't hit on it a lot. And again, this will be another episode, probably like end of season 2-ish, because everybody will get to see more of Atlas. But like, Atlas very obviously has feelings for Nortia. And
Nortia has no idea.
Nortia, here's the thing. I'm going to give you tea that nobody else has.
Yes.
That little thing where she's lying and she said she's going to talk to Lady M, part of her realized that, like, the reason Atlas acted like Gunnar is, like, he feels something, you know? And she doesn't know exactly what it is. And I've had a lot of, like, fan fiction moments in my head where it's, like, Atlas confesses and Nortia's like, are you in love with me or are you scared of losing me to Gunnar? Because those are two different things. Because Atlas, before all of this, like, the only people Nortia had that she talked to all the time were Atlas and her dads. And, like, even if Atlas really is in love with her, like, she needs to know that that's the truth, you know?
Well, and why has it come up now? And now that I have somebody else that I have hard eyes for, why are you now bringing this up? If you were in love with me, why didn't you? Yeah. Oh, shut up.
And
that's so good.
Nortia's going to talk to Lady M about it. Like, she wasn't lying when she's like, I'm going to tell Lady M all of this. And I think she needs to hear from Lady M, you know, and like, here's what happened. I'm not going to say what I think is going on. I need to hear someone else say it, you know? And I don't know if she's going to get to have that conversation beforehand because of everything that is going on.
Yeah, when Atlas was like, LOL, impaled or whatever.
Yeah.
And was like, it's going to be okay. I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. But like, I think the really beautiful thing is like, it doesn't matter if Nortia ends up with like Atlas or with Gunnar or with someone else, you know, like the only person she cares about having is Lady M. Like, and like, it's not a possessive kind of thing either because she sees the other people that love her and she's like, please show M that you love her because I see it and she needs to see it too, you know? Like,
and like, I think the watching someone that you love light up when they receive love, and then watching people who love them not give them the love that makes them light up is devastating. Yeah. And I think when Nortia has that conversation with M, it's going to be that kind of energy.
It's going to be so juicy.
And one thing too about particularly the Gunnar clips, but also whenever Nortia and M kind of talk about, I so appreciate, and I'm trying to identify where in M this comes from, but like they can be like at each other's throats, like have that kind of a conversation, or like that where that conversation between Nortia and M, where it's like, why was Gunnar so moody? Blah, 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 happened right after M was just like, I am afraid to tell you my true. Like it's like there's no. It's like they can be anything with each other, and like the way that they play together is so refreshing for M to be like, it's another example of like, I can show you the worst of me and then you can tell me about your boy problems and like, and nothing bad will happen. Yeah. Like the world will keep spinning. When they're playful with each other, that's some of my favorite RP moments between M and Nortia is when they're like, That's my favorite.
I see you.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. We see each other.
It's so good, and I think like like the going from like I told Gunnar and he did not take it well to he met your dad. And like it's still like Nordia brings it back to it, right? Like he's scared of you, like that's why he's grumpy, but like
yes,
you know he wants to protect me, and I know you want to protect me somewhere deep
and like
inside, you know.
fine. Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful, and like I think that we haven't got to explore it a lot because Cal is on the moon, but like Nordia feels the same way when it comes to like Cal and Lady M, right? Like she's like, I don't think you've said it to each other, but I think you are in love, and I think that is beautiful. And like to Nordia, she sees a lot of romantic love, right? She goes all over the place, and she sees her dad, right? Her dad, and they have this like fairy book love, and that's not something she sees often. But I feel like one of the reasons she's so quick to protect Cal is because she sees that in Lady M and Cal. And so she's like, this is the most precious thing anybody can have, and they have not got to see that they have it with each other.
Which wild that you say that, because to, like as M, it's like, yeah, he like jumped in front of a death ray and like I nursed him back to health, and like it was, you know, like we like spent a night on the beach under the stars together, and then I like woke up in his arms, but like it's literally not a big deal, and I don't know why everyone keeps making it such a big deal. Like that's what it is to M. And I think when it comes to the relationship surrounding them, whether, you know, it's Gunnar, if it's Cal, other players, I think that's another thing of like, I see what you don't see.
Yeah.
Of like, I see that he loves you, or like, I see that he's just trying to protect you. So like, fine, whatever. You're gonna like keep him around, well, whatever, right? And like, so and that's why I think that's the only time that, at least for M, but I think for both of them, where they are cognizant of the fact that they see what the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
Because that's why they're so playful about it, right? It's like, so like, what did you see? Wait, tell me everything. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what it is. Because they don't see it by themselves.
Yeah.
They need each other to help see it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I
love them too. And like, I don't know if, we won't go into why you might not get to hear this line, but I hope we find a way to get this line back in there. In the training montage when M says, that is the most whipped man I've ever seen. You know?
Yeah, she literally does. She literally says that.
Like,
oh my God.
But Nordia doesn't think that, right? Because in Nordia's brain, she's like, yeah, he protected me and like is teaching me, and that's because I'm asking him to, and there's all these things. And I think Nordia understands that Gunnar has feelings for her and that she has feelings for Gunnar. But I think what she doesn't understand is like it's not just like giddy crush, you know, it's not everything else she's had before. And I think that's the big dilemma that we'll face with the love triangle that she's in, is that both of them love her like that. Owie indeed.
And I think the deciding factor will, I think, be, however, you know, not predetermining it, but like whatever Nordia chooses, I think the fact that Atlas never said anything is gonna be devastating to Nordia specifically, because her whole gag is like share love, thoughts, feelings, experiences, stories. Like her whole gag is sharing. So the fact that this was a love that he felt like he had to harbor to himself is like, I just can't wait to see Nordia wrestle with that. It's gonna be so good.
I think the when I think about it, the two most contrasting points are what we talked about earlier, where Lady M does not think Nordia needs protecting but wants to do it anyway. Like Gunnar wants to protect Nordia and says to Nordia that she underestimates herself, but to everybody else in every situation protects her, it feels like because he feels like she needs to be protected, you know. And he
Right.
says to Lady M,
Right.
like, her strengths have not caught up to her spirits. And that's a
Yes.
beautiful line, right? And it's so precious that he protects her. But like, Atlas has never thought that for a second, you know?
Yeah.
You know, he's
Yeah.
like, that's Nortia, and I don't need to protect her. I need to protect her from herself, because if it's between her and somebody else, she will always choose for her to go down.
And someone has to choose her.
Yeah, someone has to
Because
choose
she won't
her.
choose herself.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like that's how Lady M is with Nortia too. You know? Like, she's like, I don't need to protect you. You have these powers. You are powerful.
Yeah.
But I see that in every instance, like, Nortia giving that necklace to Emerus. Like, that was her saying, I don't care if I die if you get to live. You know?
Which Nortia has like 10 HP now. And I'm like, oh, bad, no, bad. But that's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say of like, it's a combination of like M seeing that Nortia never chooses herself and M subconsciously never choosing herself and desperately wishing that she could.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's another instance of them being the same, right? But I think M is much more selfish than Nortia is, but yeah, I mean, Nortia in a burning building will get everything, including the furniture and the pictures off the walls, out before she gets herself out. And, you know, I just is so, everyone around Nortia is like, I choose you, it's like, you know what I mean? But like, it's interesting that like one is romantic and one is platonic, and only one has been clocked by Nortia. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really beautiful to me that you said that, because I think the thing that maybe I see as Nortia, right, with Lady M, and I think Nortia says to her, like, you say that I help everybody, but that's all I see in you. Every time anything happens, that's what I see in you. So, like, what do you mean? You know, like, yeah, like, Lady M can be selfish, but, like, I think that, like, everybody is selfish, and Nortia, in refusing to choose anybody else above her, is selfish, because part of that is, I've never experienced a loss. I'd rather die than experience that, you know?
I'm powering down for the night. Oh my god, that's so good. Okay, and also separately of characters, you are so able to clearly articulate Nortia and her thoughts and her feelings and her motivations, and it's just so clear to me that like this is a character that has like come from you, and it's so beautiful to watch you work. It's just, I just love playing with you. You're just so good. I love you so much.
I love playing with you, and I love you so much. I think like the really cool thing is like looking at like Caleb talks about how like deep your backstory is all the time, and I love it so much because I know you ate that shit. I watched how you ate that shit literally yesterday. You know, like enough, right? And I think like when you have a character with trauma, like I can tell you put so much love into Lady M, and like when I was like, Nortia is not gonna have any trauma, it makes it kind of hard to make like a really like juicy backstory, right? And so what I did was like, and I started doing with all my characters after this, was I broke down how she sees the world in topics, right? And like I was like, one of the things that hasn't been touched on a lot is Nortia's relationship with fate, and how she thinks that like fate has not been in so many people's favor, and that's all she wants, is to put it in people's favor who have not had it before, because she doesn't understand why she's been so lucky.
Which, okay, it is another thing that like is so brilliant in the way that you play her, is like, it's easy to be like, my family was killed by bandits and my village was burned down and a vampire killed my family. Like that is easy to do. To make a character that is like, I have no basis to have a biased view of the world, like that is such a fascinating and brilliant way to create a character. It's like not spoiler alert, but like peek behind the curtain, both Sabrina and myself studied theater. And like something I heard all the time in school was like, play the opposite. Like you always have to play the opposite. Like if you're playing a scene sad, or an easy one is like to play a drunk character, that person is trying so hard to appear not drunk, right? It's like that same idea of like, when you think D&D, when I think D&D character, I'm like, what traumatic backstory am I gonna pick? But it's so brilliant to play the opposite of that and be like, the traumatic backstory is that I harbor so much guilt about the fact that I have been so lucky. Like that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's really brilliant. And is apparent in the depth of how you play her. Yeah, it's good.
That's
I'm so serious.
sweet.
I'm
Thank
literally,
you.
I'm serious.
I think like one of my favorite things, and like honestly, the end of TEA-CAPs are probably just going to be us like bragging about how good of a DM Caleb is. But like I brought this Caleb and I was like, I don't want her to be traumatized. I think that like the beauty in her is that like she sees that there's bad in the world, but she wants to be light, and like she hasn't had anything to make her dark. And Caleb was like, are you okay with me traumatizing her? And I was like, yes. Like I think that's important, right? Like to see like like how a person who like she's like in her 20s, you know, like, and like as somebody who's lived a very opposite life from that, like to be able to play somebody who like genuinely is like where I wish I have always been, you know, like there is good and it's things that like I feel like Nortia continues to teach me and remind me about things that are really important to myself and like that come through, right? Like that sometimes I agree that characters possess you, and like some of my favorite lines from Nortia have hit me the hardest because it's like the line where it's that's not who you are, believe yourself. Like and like the like love and trust doesn't have to be like solely between two people, it can spread and all that kind of stuff. Like these things that she says when she possesses my being. Like, like there's nothing wrong with being good and wanting people to be good, and like even though she is facing these people who are very obviously villains, she wants to believe that they can choose good. And I think that that's really important, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's what makes her such a special character in this campaign, because like this is not, it's like a fun, happy, silly go lucky campaign, but like it's heavy. It's like heavy, and like it's not like we're frolicking through a field the whole time. Like, so I think if you had gone a different direction with Nortia and had been like, she's traumatized and like, blah, 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 then like it's just a perfect juxtaposition to the party. And I am terrified and excited and anxious and anticipatory to when she does get to experience her first stance in the shadow of fate and what that does to her. And like, I hope it's something, I don't hope, okay, this is not whatever, but like, I if it was something that like different levels of trauma impact different people, right? People impact people differently. And I have this visceral fear that something's going to happen to Nortia and it's going to devastate Nortia, and she's going to come to Em, and Em is going to be like, you stubbed your toe. Like that is like, because Em is so defensive of her own experiences, and I don't think Em would do that, but like that is a fear that I have as someone who lets Em possess me, that Em will do that. Well, that Em will be like, you know, I don't think she would ever be like, you don't know how good you have it. Like Em would never be like that, but I fear a misstep in the navigation of that experience between the two of them and what that will do, and how it's just gonna be so good.
I think what's
I just can't wait.
Really cool is the first like vulnerable moment in the campaign between the two of us is Nortia experiencing something bad for the first time when she pulls Donna out, and Cal,
Yeah.
she hurt Cal, and not on purpose, but in a selfish way. And Nortia has never done that before, and never thought that something she's done is wrong. She always thinks that she chooses to do the right thing. And she was like, I was in the moment, I wanted control, and I was selfish. And I didn't just rip this person away from Cal, I ripped them away from everything they know and love. And here's Donna showing so much kindness, and Cal being pissed off.
Mhm.
And Nortia like says to like Lady M, like, oh, I'll be fine. And she's like, but what happened? You know? And like
Yeah.
she sees that like Nortia's hurt in a way that like maybe doesn't 100% make sense, but like it makes sense to Nortia, and Lady M cared about it, which
Yeah.
I think is like the reason Nortia like was so quick to be so open with her, you know?
Mhm.
Because she was like, I know that hurting someone isn't the worst thing that could happen to me. I've seen people get hurt all the time. I just hurt Cal, but like,
Mhm.
but I can't be the villain in somebody's story, because if I am, then everything I know about myself is wrong, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. And it's so interesting because M sees herself as the villain in her own story.
Mhm.
So it's like the fact that Nortia is like, this is the one thing I cannot be, and M is like, this is the only thing I am, is like foiled. They're foiled. I mean,
Yeah, I am very scared. Sorry, there was a firework that just went off. 4th of July, baby!
like, I don't know if you've heard the steady popping in the background here, but
no, oh my god.
oh yeah.
The heart attack I took. But I think that like I'm excited for that conversation as well. I think the
Yeah.
like really interesting thing that's coming up is this season finale, which you guys need to watch. If you
I'm so serious.
are not tuning in, you need to tune in. Like,
If you're not watching the Stranger Things, what are you watching?
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Like, I think that this is where it comes to a head of Nortia. It wasn't, you're not taking my friends, it's you're not taking any of these people. And
Yeah.
like she will not let them sacrifice somebody else. And okay, here's the tea, Betty. If you want to prepare for this moment, is that
Okay.
Nortia is more than willing to, if somebody goes to attack like anyone else, to stand in front of them so that the other people won't attack them, where that she's the one that gets hit and goes down, you know?
I knew it. I knew you were scheming. I could see it behind your little bright eyes that there was some mischief happening back there. I knew it.
Oh.
Okay. This season finale is like, this might be the most excited I am to play anything at any. I might be more excited for the season finale than I am for my. That's not true. I was pretty excited for my backstory session, but I was equally as excited, I would say.
Yeah.
But like, M right now is in a headspace where she's kind of regressed, right? And I think there are two things that could coax her out of it. I think one being her seeing that Cal is unconscious, and two, watching Nortia get hit.
Yeah.
I think those are two things that could instantly spur her to action.
Yeah.
And if Nortia jumps in front of something for M, this action will have consequences.
The thing is, Betty, don't hate me for this. The TikTok that you posted where you're like, well, we're not afraid of death, we'll kill all the NPCs. It's like everybody but Nortia. Because even if M goes to like attack like Dinah, right? And be like, you will be the person who will guard these gates, Nortia will jump in front of Dinah.
Why? Why? Hate her? She's a villain.
Well, the thing is, like, Bianca, yeah. Oh, hi, Freckle.
Hi, Freckle.
Bianca, like, Nortia, please.
That's what I'm saying.
Like with Bianca, like she sees Bianca as a threat. She doesn't, and so she understands when everybody attacks her, right? Like this is somebody who's trying to burn down the world. Dinah is somebody that like she's like, we just have a difference of opinions that have made us butt heads. But that's why she didn't attack her at the church. She disarmed Dinah so that Dinah could not hurt Em. But she didn't attack Dinah. She won't attack anybody, and if anybody tries to like be like, you're the only one who's not villain enough that we trust to be at the gates, but like villain enough that we don't want you around anymore, she's gonna be like, if you think somebody has enough good in them to guard the gates, and they have enough good in them to continue to be here. And like for Nortia with this decision, the reason why she said to Death, like, you will give us time to find somebody else, is because she believes that there are good people out there who will choose to sit at those gates and protect them. She doesn't believe it's a mandate, it's a choice. And so she wants to find somebody who's willing to do that and not out of fear that one of their friends would have to instead.
You are insane.
I know.
What? Are you kidding me? That is crazy. Nortia is so good. She's so good. Like okay. Immediate reaction is that if Nortia explained that thought process, M would be offended in that if I don't like someone, that should be enough reason for you not to like them. Like if I'm going to attack someone, you should be unquestioning in my resolve and purpose, because M is unquestioning in Nortia's resolve. Like if Nortia was going to attack somebody, M would be like, great. Do you want me to help? Like I will hold them down and you can throw punches. Like, so that is so fascinating because it feels, if Nortia were to say that to M, it would be like a, so you don't trust my judgment kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It would be like a, so you are supportive of me until it does not serve your goal to make the world a better place. Like, which is like, oh, that's so juicy. Number one. And number two, when Nortia said that to Death, I was like, okay, this could be just trying to get us out. This could be Nortia is going to sacrifice herself. This could be buying time for Dianthus. Like I was going through what it could be. And when I tell you that the purpose of stalling for time would be to find someone to do it willingly, that's the most lawful good thing I have ever heard in my life. Because that's Nortia being like, if someone willingly chooses to sacrifice their existence to serve at the gates and protect the world, I'm not going to stop them. That is insane. And I know for a fact that if the person who chose to do that was Dianthus, if Dianthus was like, I will leave it all behind and guard the gates right now, Nortia would be like, I didn't mean you. I didn't mean you.
I think the difference is Nortia thinks that there should be no stipulation to that, right? It's not, I want to leave it behind to protect my friends. And the thing that like I think is really interesting with Dianthus that me and Icarus were talking about a little bit was Dianthus thinks that it's their fate and their purpose. And if Nortia hears that, it's like, you stop letting that rule your life. If you want to stand at those gates because you think it's the noble thing to do, because you want to do that for yourself, because you believe that is the good that you can bring to the world, do it. But if you are doing it because you think that's why you were created, nobody gets to tell you why you're created. You know?
Right. You get to choose. And if this is what you choose, great. But if you want to choose differently, you should have that option. Yeah. That's so brilliant. That's so brilliant.
Thank you.
I will confess, M had no plan. M was like, I'm going to sit here and cry about it. Like that was M's plan, frankly, because she's a bit discombobulated right now, but that's really, and the fact that Nortia was able to think so clearly, because, you know, when you're like, Nortia is all about logic, right? That is so evident when we're in battle and you come up with these brilliant ideas that are game changers and win the battle for us. Like, Nortia is able to process a large input of information at one time very quickly, and in a way that none of us are able to do. And so, like, for better or for worse, it has been for the better for the most part. But if Nortia does that and in her logic decides that the best decision is for her to sacrifice herself or for her to, XYZ, then like we are helpless to stop it, which is why I and M both recognize that Nortia holds the power, right? You are the smartest person in every single room that you walk into, and that in and of itself makes you the most dangerous person in every room you walk into. And I don't think Nortia has clocked that in herself yet.
Well, I think the thing that I love about Nortia is she knows that knowledge is power, and that's why she shares it with everybody that she can.
Yes.
She does not believe that she holds the power. She believes she's granting power to other people. And like, I think the really interesting thing about that situation, right, is that Nortia will not let anybody do something out of any sense of coercion in this moment, right? Like, she's like, you are not sacrificing yourself. Like, Yarrow, you're not doing it so that Dianthus won't do it. You're not doing it because you think that, like, it's your purpose. We're not sacrificing Dinah because you guys are like, you're bad, but you're not the worst, so we'll put you there, because, like, to Nortia's, like, none of this is a choice. And to her, logically, if anybody from the group should go, now, this is because Nortia doesn't understand her power, right? But she would choose herself not because she's self-sacrificing in that moment for her friends, but logically she knows the world is ending, and she thinks because of her morality, because of everything else that's going on, she will do the least to actually put an end to it. Because even though she wants to hurt the fewest amount of people, she sees that she's not as useful, and feels not useful in that way, because she sees everybody else doing these attacks. Like, if, like, it really boiled down to it, Nortia could, like, if she sat there and watched everybody die, feel like it was her fault because she had the ability to kill the people who were killing her friends, but didn't. Yeah.
Every time you're like, here's a layer of Nortia, I'm like, I lose all physical control of my body. That is insane to me. That's so, yeah. And like I said, such a well-rounded character and such a good character to put in this party. Because if there was no Nortia in this party, we'd all be like, I'll stand at the gates. Like, it would be like, it would be a mess. It would be a mess. But yeah, brilliant. And I cannot wait to see what happens at the top of next session, because we've got 3 NPCs down. We've got M barely up. We've got Gunnar barely up and changed. And our party has now reunited after being separated for 7 months. Like, it's so many things happening at once. We've got the 3 portals open. We've got death in front of us, Bianca and Lady Dinah. And like, we either dip or fight, and neither of them end well. Like, neither is a good solution to the problem. So I'm really excited to see how next session starts.
Me too. I think, like, I'm really scared that it's gonna end with, and so for season 2, please roll your new character. But like, I think, like,
I will make sure with the girlfriend privileges that I have that this is never, we will never hear those words out of their mouth. I swear.
I think, like, what is really exciting to me about this next session is that, like, all those things that make Lady M and Nortia different come to a head here.
Yes.
This is
yeah.
Yeah. And
the not hurting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I want to see what it does, right? Because to Nortia, we talked about earlier how, like, Lady M would be like, you don't trust my judgment. But Nortia's like, it's not that I don't trust your judgment. I have not stopped you from attacking Dinah before. I've not, like, done all this stuff, but you're choosing to sacrifice somebody, not just ending their life, but for eternity to stay at those gates.
They're not dead. That you're not just killing them. Yeah.
Like, and Nortia's like, I don't get to make that call, and you don't get to make that call of who is worthy and who is not.
You don't get to give and take like you're a god.
Yeah. Oh my god, that fucking layer. Oh wait, should I spit it back at her?
That is insane. I don't know what Em is going to do is the thing. I don't know she doesn't have a plan.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't even think she physically understands where she is. Like, I don't think she has a awareness of her physical body in this space. She's so like, and like the last time she went unconscious was in her backstory.
Yeah.
So for her to have gone unconscious and so I genuinely do not know what her plan is. And I think depending on what happens, it will either, we've talked about this before, right? That like they are the people who can help each other most or hurt each other the most. And I think it will go one of the two ways. I don't think we'll be living in the gray that we've kind of been living in as Nortia and Em. I think it'll either be like, this has permanently altered our relationship for the worse or for the better.
Yeah.
And I think it just depends. I just don't even know.
I think one of the things that, and I'm telling you this because I know next session is going to be so much, right? Also, that light ended me too, Freckle. The you cannot take and give like you're a god. It's
deceased,
so
literally
good.
deceased. Yep.
But is Cal's down?
Yeah.
And if Lady M goes to attack somebody, Nortia is going to mind link and be like, I know you have the power to save Cal.
To bring that. Yeah.
I believe you that you are not the monster that you were once before. Like, save Cal instead of hurting somebody else.
If you say that to her, I claim no responsibility for what she does next. She doesn't know that Cal is down. She doesn't know. She's not aware that he's down.
There and she's right by him. So I think like if Lady M's first instinct is to attack somebody else, like she's gonna be like, no, Cal is down. Like,
look at your feet. Like, look down. Yeah.
Like, look down.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's the other thing. Is they always have their eyes on a different prize for the same goal. You know?
Yes. 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 And that I think a great example of that is that exact juxtaposition of like, you can either heal someone I know you care about and we can all get out of here, or you can hurt them and we can all get out of here. Like, yeah. And it's so juicy of like I said, two people can bring Em back from where her mental state is. And it's an acknowledgement of like, I know that what you need in this moment, I cannot provide for you. You are the only one who can provide what you need in this moment. And what you need is to heal this person in front of you and not hurt that person over there. Like, it's just, I just love them.
Yeah.
It's too good.
It's so hard too, because Nortia doesn't have any, like the thing is Nortia went to Cal, but she doesn't have any healing things that she can do. She can only stop him from taking more damage. She doesn't have a potion anymore because she used it on Atlas. Like, she went to him in hopes that she could take the bullet before either of them did. If I'm being so honest, that's what, like, her hope was. And, like, being like, I know you have the magic to heal somebody. I have seen it before. If you choose to hurt instead of heal, like, you're not believing yourself when you say you're not the monster. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and her first instinct is to hurt.
Yeah.
Instead of like Em's first instinct is always to hurt instead of, whatever, which is why like when we're having that tense conversation, she's like, you get literally one warning because my instinct is to go for your throat right now. Like, I feel like a part of him has never, I wrote today a little blurb about how Em and Cal met. And in that little blurb, there's like a section where she talks a little bit about, we haven't talked about this. Let me give you a little backdrop here, but we haven't talked about this in session a lot, but Em has not owned the lady's hand the entire time it's been open. There was a predecessor and her name is Lady Bathory, and Bathory took Em in and was like, Em was her worst version of herself. And Bathory took her in anyway and like took care of her and created her into Em, right? And like I feel like a part of her, although grateful for that forever, has never stopped being that wounded animal.
Yeah.
And I think Em is at a place where she has to decide if she wants to continue being the wounded animal and bite and claw and scratch and not let anyone take the thorn out of her side, or like allow someone close enough to her to take the thorn out of her side. And not the problem with Em is that, sorry, I'm like kind of on a rant now about Em, but like the problem about Em is she doesn't realize that like letting go of anger does not make you weak. Like Em thinks what makes her strong is the fact that she is holding on to all of it.
Yeah.
But she is I think in season 2 is going to learn that like showing that you can carry the weight does not make you strong. Being able to put the weight down is what makes you strong.
Yeah.
And like, and the only way you can do that is if you let people help you. Like,
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
It's so beautiful though. Like I love that Em does not know that, even though she is the person who feels like the wisest out of the group, right? Like I think the thing with Lady Em and Nortia that's really cool is Em is incredibly wise. Nortia's incredibly emotionally mature, intelligent, and like
Yes.
those are two very different things that the other one lacks, right? That like not being able to talk about your feelings versus like not understanding the world, you know? Because Nortia can write all she wants. She has all the logic behind it, but like until you experience something even similar, you'll never understand all those moments that you saw in front of you. And like Lady M knows, you know?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. There's so many good conversations that I know is going to happen between them that I can't wait for because juicy.
Because juicy indeed.
I love them.
Seriously, like they make my heart melt. They make me feel like, you know, like anybody can be friends, you know? Anybody can find the good in another person. And they're so good. And I'm so nervous for this next episode, but I think in my brain, like no matter what happens, if it's like I am going to like these things come to a head and we like argue about them versus these things come to a head and we see each other's truth, you know?
Yeah.
Like I am excited to see how that expands in season 4 as well. Or season 4, season 2.
Season 10.
Season
11.
20.
Season 20.
But I think that like that's what makes them them and that's what makes them integral to the party. And like it's beautiful, and I'm also scared that one of them will die because I think that's the other one will absolutely lose it. I talked a little bit about go ahead. I talked a little bit with the group about like what would break Nortia to have her hurt somebody, right? And at first I was thinking like, oh, you know, like if she sees Lady M like die, like that's what would do it, you know, or if she sees one of the party members die, that would do it. But I think to her, like even in that moment, she'd be like, who am I to take away somebody else's Lady M? Who am I to hurt these people? You know, like,
oh my God.
And I think it would then turn into like, I will not hurt them, but I will stand in front of every bullet. I will not let anybody else get hurt before I get hurt, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love them. I love them.
Me too. I'm really scared to see what happens if Nortia dies.
If Nortia dies, I let the wind kind of move me where it will. And if Nortia dies, I think it'll move me down bad real quick. It'll be not good. I think like Em is already unhinged in the sense that like she will not hesitate to be violent. But I think like she would revert back to Medea, right? It would be like, because the last time she lost someone that important to her was when she was Medea, right? Or to traumatic means, at least. It would be it would be when she was Medea. And like, I honestly think there is nothing that would push her back to the Fae Court. I think if Nortia died, it may push her back to the Fae Court, because I think she would be like, I can remove myself from reality enough to where I feel like I can rule this court.
Yeah.
Is that extreme is the only extreme which I can be alive and accept the fact that Nortia is not.
Oh my god.
It would be rough. It would be really rough.
Do you want to know?
And she probably.
Oh no! You tell me the other thing first, and then I'll tell you the secret.
I was gonna say she would probably seek necromantic means to bring Nortia back, and then she'd be like, "It would be better that Nortia come back and hate me forever for bringing her back, than Nortia not be back at all." Trauma. I love it here.
In the episode where Nortia tells Lady Ehm, "I have accepted that I will die, that I could die every time we go into these battles." One of the things that I did not discuss on stream that Nortia did before she left was she wrote everybody letters. And I have those letters for if she dies. And Betty.
You are going to jail. I am going to send you to prison. I'm going to call the police on you. What do you mean she wrote everybody letters? What is that? What do you mean? Wait a minute.
She wrote her dad's letters, everybody in the party a letter, Atlas a letter, and Gunnar a letter. And
Sabrina,
all of them are like her like last words to them, but also like what she feels like they would need to hear if she was gone.
I need you to be so for real right now. I need you to be so for real right now. Is that like, does she just have them on her person? Where are they?
They're on her person. They're in her bag.
Oh my God. If Em wouldn't read it. Em would not read it.
So tragic, because Em's is basically her being like, I know you think that you are all darkness, but that is not what you are. And I know that I was the only person to show you that you like are light. My light does not die with, or your light cannot die with my light, basically is what it is.
Oh my God, dude. No way. That's so good. That's so good. Do you think there would be any instance where Nortia would show them if she wasn't dead?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I think for Nortia, she wrote those as a comfort to herself, to know that she would be able to say the things that she can't say now, because she feels like if she says them now, it doesn't matter, you know? Like, versus like if she died, all she wants is her friends to feel comfort. I think it's very plausible that somebody could find them, because she's not hiding them. Like, they're just in her satchel. But like,
open the flap and there they are.
Like, the little one that's on her thigh holster, like that's where they are. And like,
it's all in there. I love Nortia. She's like, I'm gonna write all these dramatic, most important letters I've ever written and just put them right here.
Yeah,
they're just right here.
She's like, if they have to be on my person, and this is always on me. You know, like the only way they're going to find these is if they think that like they're going through my belongings to bring them to my dad's, or you know, like to have a piece of me, like. That's where she would put them. So I was like, she just has them on her.
That's so good. That's so juicy. I don't know what to do with this information now. It's going to infect me. It's going to infect my little brain.
They're really good at the one to Gunnar is so fucking sad.
Can you send it to me?
I'd have to type it up because I wrote them, but I...
You hand wrote them?
Yeah.
Sabrina! My heart, you are the best human that walks this earth. What do you mean? You write them as Nortia? Like, is it like Nortia's handwriting?
Well, it's the best that I can do. Nortia, I have Comic Sans handwriting, so like me trying to write fancy for Nortia was a challenge. But yeah, I think they really like. When I wrote them, I was like, this is what Nortia would want, you know, and like,
Yeah.
like that's why one of the. I don't know if Freckle is still watching. If you are, I guess you get a sneak peek into yours if Nortia ever dies or anybody ever finds these either. But Nortia keeps repeating to Yarrow, that's what friends are for. This is not transactional. We are helping you. I will always help you.
Mhm.
And it's that like you are not a burden, you know? Helping you is not a burden. And like do not let me burden you, you know?
That's so good.
Yeah.
Which is something I think we need to talk about when we talk about Yarrow, because Yarrow is always like, I can give you something, I can like do something for you, I can like. I think when we talk about Yarrow, we need to be like, let's unpack this. Like we need to psychoanalyze Yarrow.
Hi, yeah,
Personally.
I'm still here also.
So we do have to psychoanalyze Yarrow. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's too
He's
good.
just a
It's
little
too
guy
good.
who wants to help everybody in the world, but will not let a single person help him.
Let us help you, Yarrow. Let us be your friends. Oh, I love Yarrow.
Me
Yarrow is
too.
such a good character.
That's why I love Yarrow and Dianthus together so much too. It's because they're both like, I won't accept your help, but for completely different reasons.
Completely different reasons. They're like, I won't accept your help and I will never ask for anything ever. But also, I really want you to kiss my face really badly, but I'm never ever going to tell you anything about that ever in my whole life because I'm never going to ask for anything. It's too good. It's too good.
I can't wait for their ship episode.
We have so much to talk about. We have so much material for future episodes.
Speaking of future episodes, thank you all so much for joining us. It's getting a little late and we could talk all night. We love talking.
We for real could. Oh man.
But if you are not planning on tuning in, I believe it's going to be at this upcoming Sunday, not 100% sure. On Sunday, then what are you doing? If you're not watching The Strangers Guild, what are you doing? And if your answer is, well, you know, I can't jump in because you guys are at the end of season 1. I feel like our episodes do a pretty good job at standing alone and still impacting you.
I agree.
But also,
and
give your 2.
No, you.
You'll be able to catch up soon, besties.
That's why we're here.
We're here to catch you up, and so you go in, and then you'll be at the finale, and you'll be like, "Oh, this is Lady Ehm, and this is Nortia," and you're like, "Oh my god, it's happening! Their theory is
the thing
happening.
They talked about."
Oh my god! So,
and I think this would be the perfect place to jump in because everything in season 2 is gonna be born in this next session, and you'll catch up. It's literally like I think we are. Like you said, so good at like being like a little recap, and 2, that's what we're here for. And I also think 3, that the beauty of this story is that it is not complicated. Yeah. It is a group of people who are trying to help each other, make the world a better place, and it's a great story, and we love telling it. So you should come watch it.
Yeah, come watch it. Be a part of the story. And if you don't get to watch season 1, watch season 2, and you'll be able to listen to season 1. That's the only other spoiler I'm dropping. So continue to check out our TEA-CAPs, even if you don't check out the rest, because isn't it fun listening to us gossip about these little guys?
It's fun because we have fun doing it.
And you know, check us out. Check out the season finale. Check out everything that we do. Check out the in-betweens. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at The Strangers Guild or strangers_guild on Twitter. You can follow at Caleb the Bard _ for updates. You should follow Freckle and Icarus and Betty and me and Caleb and also Kayla, because they just did a really cool thing on our. So follow everybody.
Everyone in the world. Follow all of them.
Follow them all. You'll get to see fun clips that we post because we love this show so much, and I think that's what makes it special, is because all of us put our whole hearts into it. So, Betty, do you
agree.
have anything else you'd like to close with?
I would like to say thank you for putting together the doc and the clips. This is so much fun, and I can't wait to TEA-CAP with you again. I'm so excited. This is so much fun.
I agree. Oh, I love you, Betty. Okay.
I love you. I love you, Sabrina.
And we love you guys, so keep watching.
And we love you.
Keep watching. And with that, I'm going to go to our little ending screen and enjoy the ads.